All right, we move on to the college football and the action that went down on Saturday. Had quite a lot of it. The biggest result happened with number one Alabama going down for the first time this season to Texas A&M. The first time Nick Saban has lost to one of his prior assistants, Jimbo Fisher, getting the upset there at Kyle Field, 41-38 the final. That was the biggest upset of the day. Georgia had a fairly easy time with the Auburns and the Bo Nixes. Big win for Iowa. They beat Penn State 23-20 at home. Elsewhere, the Red River rivalry. Texas led 48-30 after three quarters and then proceeded to blow that one. Oklahoma wins that one 55-48 in a thriller. Michigan continues to stay unbeaten, as did Michigan State. Big shootout in the SEC as Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss holds on 52-51. Arkansas and Sam Pittman going for a 2-point conversion to win it. Late, they were unable to. Those were the big highlights, it would seem. Drink, what stood out to you the most?
Well, let me go ahead and pay the piper off the bat. Here's the deal. My boys, Alabama, we roll in the College Station, 8 o'clock, prime time, crowd rocking. And I've been saying this for quite a few, weeks on the broadcast that I'm not interested in that quarterback, Calzone, from some Texas Tech, and I mean Texas A&M. My bad. I meant well, they was Texas Tech until they beat Alabama. Now we respect them as Texas A&M. Either way, we go down there. And this game was supposed to be relatively easy for us. I thought that's why I didn't even care to talk about it a whole lot in the preview, because I was like, okay, cool. What Texas A&M gonna do? They shut me to rip up. That's what they did. I owe Texas A&M fans an apology. I talked all that crap about your quarterback, and he came out here. He might be in the Heisman race. I'm gonna just keep it real. Even though Alabama's still bringing these number one ranked classes over the last couple of years, they have missed massively on a couple of positions. And you're starting to see that. Not wide receiver, not running back, not even quarterback, if you can imagine that. Not O-line, even though the O-line wasn't great. I just think it's a whole gel thing and a scheme that Texas A&M ran. But where they missed the most was defensive line and inside linebacker. And we're seeing that. Let's just call it what it is, folks. Yo, Alabama looking like Ole Miss down the middle of the defense. That's just what it is. Like, I understand people say, oh, it's the coaching, it's schemes, it's the man. Please, every time Alabama tried to blitz Texas A&M, it resulted in a long play down the field. That inside linebacker play just ain't it, folks. I'm sorry. You can give me out of this guy was a 4-star, this guy was a 5-star. I got it. Cool. You can be a big fish at a 1A school. I'm just gonna keep it real. At a 2A school or something. But this in a nutshell is this. Bill O'Brien, Pete Golden got out-coached by Echoes, and I forgot what the other guy's name is. I don't even care what his name is, because I shouldn't even have to tell you their name, because this shouldn't even be a thing right now. But yet it's still, I got Bill O'Brien from the 2-yard line, and he runs like 3 passing plays. When Brian Robinson he's been carrying the load for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into your running back? No? Dude had almost 200. All right, whatever. We on some Seattle stuff now, huh? Okay, all right. All right, Pete Carroll, I see you. 3 straight passes, incomplete, we kick a field goal. Stuff like that. Stuff like, let's keep blitzing Texas A&M. We're going to keep blitzing them, even though we don't got the personnel to actually break through. Listen, our outside linebackers are phenomenal. Even the guy, we had a true freshman in the game, and I thought he played well. The problem is, you can't do nothing with outside linebackers if your D-line and your inside linebackers get ran over. Like, where's the pressure? So I need you to hold this pocket up so you can get to the quarterback. None of that exists. to Texas A&M. Shall I say maybe this the game that make Texas A&M look like Texas A&M? I mean, let's not forget, even though they was unranked, even though they broke that 100-game unranked streak that Alabama had going, which broke my heart because we've been doing it. This might be what Texas A&M needed to look like Texas A&M. Let's not forget they did start the season number 6 overall. In the preseason, they was the number 6 team in the nation. And then they kind of fell apart. They lost their quarterback and then this, that, and third. But the rest of the team never played up to snuff until Alabama rolled in town. Mm-hmm. You hear a lot of top teams say this. We always get the other team's best shot. And it sounds cliche, but it's true when you're Alabama. It's true when you're Ohio State. It's true when you're Georgia. It's true when you're Oklahoma and Oregon and etc. These are true things, and that's what we seen Saturday. That's exactly Texas A&M said. If we don't play no other game better than we play this game, this need to be our game this season, and they showed for it. Alabama made a lot of mistakes. I'm not gonna make no excuses. We looked like, hey, I didn't know if that was Kentucky I was looking at or Alabama. I didn't know if that was, I mean, come on, man. It looked that bad out there. I didn't know what I was looking at. But kudos to Texas A&M, and I do think Texas A&M is ranked now. I do think that was a good building block for them. I'm not going to lie. As an Alabama fan, I would hope that they do a lot better this season so they can help our case towards the end. But maybe this is the turning stone. Shouts out to Jimbo Fisher, the first assistant coach, to beat Nick Saban. And, just shouts out to him for having this team ready to win a game, that primetime game at home. I can't be mad at that, man. Like, I'm mad at my team because they pathetic performance, but shouts out to Texas A&M for seeing the opportunity and they took it. On to the other games. I won't spend so long on. Georgia gave Auburn the business because we know Bo Nix ain't been talking about nothing for quite a while, and Georgia went on and did what they had to do. Yes, this Georgia defense is for real. Yes, they deserve to be the number 1 team in the nation. But can they please play a quarterback, please? Can they stand up and play a quarterback? They have yet to play a quarterback. You can go ahead and give me all the snuff you want, but, I know if you want to say Alabama ain't played a quarterback, okay, cool, even though I think Matt Corral could win the Heisman. But the rest of them, okay, I give you that. I give you that, like, outside of Matt Corral, Georgia hasn't faced no quarterback yet. So we got to see when they play an actual quarterback in the offense, but shouts out to them. But this is what Georgia do, and this is why I'll give them credit. They know they're better than the other team, and they smash the other team. Whether you think they got a good offense or not, don't really matter. They just roll up in this joint, because people forget this game was in Auburn. This wasn't in Georgia. This game was in Auburn. They took the crowd out pretty fast, and that was the end of that. I mean, let's keep it real. It was so quiet in there, I thought church was going on. I thought I heard somebody preaching over there. I didn't know what was going on. That's how quiet Georgia had it. So, kudos to Georgia. Defense came to play. Number 1 team, well-deserved. The third game in the SEC, Arkansas and Ole Miss. See, here's the deal. This is what I'm talking about. This is the crap I'm talking about right here. These dudes, a week after playing the two better teams in the SEC, because, you never know how they look at that, they don't score half of the points that they actually score in this game. It's a straight shooter. Arkansas, I had to hear about how Arkansas had the blueprint to slowing down Texas A&M. Well, Alabama had the blueprint to slowing down Ole Miss. So if you want to talk about how Alabama didn't follow Arkansas, Arkansas should have followed Alabama because 52 points. All right, cool. I guess it ain't that bad when you score 51 points though. I don't know. You tell me. So that game was a shootout. I think that we talked about that game being the game for third place in the SEC right now, and I feel confident by saying behind Alabama and Georgia, Ole Miss is the third best team in the SEC. So I thought that's what that game was going. Then the Red River Come on, Steve, baby. I thought you was going to get this one, man. I just knew. I said, oh, Steve. There go the marquee win. There go the marquee Flopperooski. That's what that was. Flopperooski. That's exactly what that was, folks. I gotta give credit to Lincoln Riley, which Lincoln Riley just got another recruit in it. Oh, he is recruiting, folks. Oklahoma really recruiting coming to the SEC. We might want to pump the brakes on all that snuff we were talking. But with that said, Oklahoma brings in a highly talented number 1 overall recruit last year recruiting cycle, Caleb Williams, true freshman quarterback. And let me take that back. He's actually been, because he didn't play his last year in high school. Then he was on the roster, COVID, and then this year he played. So he's a true freshman by definition, but you know how they go. It's kind of like the Rookie of the Year thing and all those other type of titles. You got to take out the dead years and speed it up. So he's a true freshman, even though he's been around for a little while. He came into the game, totally changed the outlook of Oklahoma's team. Looked explosive. I can't knock the guy for what he did. He seemed like the future of Oklahoma. But I'm going to tell you like this. It's easy when you come in as the backup and you win the game. For the rest of the year, as long as they roll that guy out, Caleb Williams, teams are going to be ready for him. Let's see if he can perform when the team is ready for him. It's a different ball game, man. It's a different ball game. Like coming in and actually having the team prepared for you is a different ball game. Either way, Texas let one go. I personally think the way Texas played, they was looking like the best team in the Big 12. It's a little hard for me to still call them that when Oklahoma comes back and win the game. That would make them the best team in the Big 12. So it seems like Oklahoma is on their way to another playoff slot, if you ask me. But we'll see how that go. Boise State and BYU, I ain't even gonna talk about. The only thing I'm gonna say about that is BYU, you had your chance. You was in the top 10, and then you lay an egg. Good luck with the rest of that. Then we had the top 4 matchup: Penn State. Number 4 Penn State versus number 3 Iowa. All that game showed me is the Big Ten is playing they play some pretty good defense. But neither one of them teams are going to have a chance against Georgia. I'm telling you right now. That's all good and dandy. Penn State flopped around with Auburn. We just seen what Georgia did with them. Iowa, I'm with Iowa this year. I'm like, Iowa got an offense. They're going to be some. I like Iowa. I just don't know if that's enough against. I'm not even sure if Iowa will beat Alabama with that. I'm going to be honest with you. A motivated Alabama that's coming to play, I don't think that's going to fly with them. I just know that's not going to fly with Georgia. So we'll see as the Big Ten roulette goes. Michigan, you just said it. They stay undefeated. They beat Nebraska 32-29. Are we still wondering about Michigan? I'm just wondering. We still got the verdict out on them, or how that's working with Michigan? Okay, I'm just wondering. So throughout all that's my recap of college football. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Texas A&M. Hey, Nick, let's get it together. You know what it is. Over to you, Jay.
On that Michigan note, they still have games at Michigan State, at Penn State, and then they get Ohio State at home. There isn't a game that they've played yet to where, come on, like Wisconsin was the one that maybe you look at that and they beat Wisconsin by 3 touchdowns, but Wisconsin isn't any good. So we just got called at what it is. So they haven't played any. They don't have an opponent that they beat who you look at. Oh yeah, that team, that's the one they can hang their hat on. No, they get Northwestern. I think a week and a half from now. I think they're on a bye this week. But we're not going to know about Michigan until they play Michigan State, and then I think we'll start to find out, and we'll see after that. That's going to be they got 3 of their last 5 are against right now top 10 teams. That's when we'll find out about Michigan, and then I guess we'll let you know. Alabama. The big thing coming into this weekend, I was looking for Alabama and Georgia, best 2 teams. Is there anybody else who we're looking at who say, okay, that team can get them? In the big game I was looking at was Iowa, Penn State, and I didn't see anything from either team that led me to believe that either one of those teams, particularly Iowa, since they won the game. But I don't think Iowa can beat Georgia, and no, I don't think even in defeat. I don't think Iowa can beat Alabama. I just don't think they got enough. I look at Iowa, to me, they look like a really good defensive team, but I think they're limited on offense. I really do. So, that just didn't inspire confidence And then, after Penn State and Iowa, like, I mean, I'm going to tell you, Oklahoma, they just keep slipping on by, man. I mean, God, this is how it happened. I was watching the Red River rivalry very closely. It was what, 14-0 within like 2 or 3 minutes or something crazy. And then it was 28-7. And then it was 48-30. When it was 48-30, that's when, I had to, draw my attention to Virginia Louisville, because that's just, I gotta watch them dudes. And then I happened to look up at one point and I'm like, why is it 55? What happened? Just, oh my gosh, just collapses of epic proportions. They're on Monday Night Football. They're on Saturday noon with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. They're just everywhere. That was disappointing, because I think Oklahoma is about as fake as it gets. I'll tell you one thing. I don't ever want to see Spencer Rattler ever again. Give me that dude Caleb Williams right now. Let him play. That Spencer Rattler, no more. This guy is he ain't it. Like, you talk about Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and now this dude, it's not it. Where is the Heisman? Where is the Heisman performances? I was promised a Heisman or a Heisman worthy something. No, I don't want any more of it. Caleb Williams. I mean, this dude steps on the field and just the energy changes. That's what I saw. So, but I still think, even with that, something tells me Oklahoma's still going to slip up. And I think, they got their last 3 down the stretch. They're at Baylor, they get Iowa State at home, and then they got to go to Oklahoma State. I think they're going to slip up in one of those 3 games. I'm still not all that impressed with them. So, we'll have to see, but maybe Caleb Williams will change my mind. Maybe he'll play a full game and, show out beyond belief, and then I'll feel differently. But at this time, not yet. And Georgia, I think Georgia is well deserved of the number 1 team. They still working through, the quarterback issue. JT Daniels can't get him. He's in and out. Stetson Bennett, he's in that hole down the fort. But this defense is the truth. Let's say no more about it. And we can laugh at Auburn, all we want to, and Bo Nix. But what makes that impressive is that was at Auburn, and Bo Nix plays pretty well at home. So I just want to throw that out there. That makes that, to me, by Georgia, all the more impressive. And I'll finish up where you started off. Alabama, they was just, I don't know what it was. Like, they just didn't take A&M seriously, because A&M's like 3-2. They just lost to Mississippi State, whatever. I think that maybe there was some of that in there going on. And then, you're down 24-10. And Alabama, and then you look at the second half. After
defense showed up.
Yeah, and after they give up the kick return and to make it 31-17, they put 21 unanswered in 4 possessions, 2 touchdowns. They had 2 field goals in the middle. And then at that point, I was like, and especially like you could feel the momentum really shift. And they was like, they had it going both ends. And then the defense lets them down late. Then Alabama goes 3 and out. It felt like as the second half progressed, that was Alabama's game. It was just one of those classes. Oh man, the Alabama, they didn't quite have their A game, but they still gonna get it done. And they just came up a little bit short. Even in defeat, I still think it's Bama and Georgia right now. I think that's a collision course for the SEC. I mean, what it does is it means Alabama has to win the SEC to get in now. That's what it means. I don't think you can afford, especially because to me the West isn't quite as good as probably what we'd have hoped, because A&M being down, LSU's just not it. You got Ole Miss in there, but I mean, the West is normally a bit stronger, and Auburn's not great. So the West just isn't as strong. There's no way a two-loss SEC team to me can get in. They have to win the SEC. They have to beat Georgia in that game, that's what we're projecting. It's going to be Georgia. And, that'll be that. I think there's a situation right now. If Georgia wins out and they're undefeated in the SEC title game, Bama has 1 loss. If Bama beats Georgia, they both get in. I don't think there's any question about it at this point.